The cafeteria of the Nexus station hummed with the usual cacophony of 100 different species attempting to coexist. Ashley Martinez sat alone at a corner table, her tray of protein paste and synthesized vegetables untouched as she scrolled through her datapad. She'd learned early in her assignment to keep her head down, speak softly, and above all, never remind the other species just how dangerous humans could be. Earth had only joined the Galactic Federation 3 years ago, and the revelation had been uncomfortable for everyone involved. Humanity hailed from what the galaxy classified as a Class 12 Deathworld, a planet so hostile that its inhabitants had evolved into something the rest of the civilized galaxy found deeply unsettling. High gravity, toxic atmosphere in many regions, predators that could kill with a single bite, and worst of all, humans had clawed their way to the top of the food chain through sheer stubbornness and violence. Ashley was one of the first human ambassadors stationed at Nexus, a neutral diplomatic hub where representatives from all Federation worlds came to conduct business. She was small by human standards, barely 5'4", with dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail and brown eyes that seemed perpetually tired. She wore the standard-issue jumpsuit that all junior diplomats wore, nothing to distinguish her from any other low-ranking official, which made her the perfect target for Krathor. The Vakrian approached her table with his usual entourage of sycophants. Vakrians were massive creatures, standing nearly 8 feet tall with chitinous exoskeletons that gleamed under the station's artificial lights. They came from a low-gravity world where aggression was rewarded and physical dominance meant everything. Krathor had made it his personal mission to make Ashley's life miserable ever since she'd arrived. Well, Krathor's translator device rendered his clicking mandibles into standard galactic. The little Deathworlder is eating alone again. Tell me, Ashley, do you miss your savage planet? Do you dream of hunting and killing like your ancestors? Ashley didn't look up. I'm just trying to eat, Krathor. Please leave me alone. Please, he mocked, his entourage chittering with laughter. Such polite words from a species that literally evolved to kill. Tell me, how many animals did your people drive to extinction? How many wars have you fought? The database says thousands. Thousands of wars, and you sit here pretending to be civilized. She could feel her heart rate increasing, could feel the adrenaline beginning to flood her system. That ancient chemical cocktail that had allowed her ancestors to fight off predators twice their size. She took a slow breath, using the meditation techniques her handler had taught her. I don't want any trouble. Alex Chen, another human diplomat, caught her eye from across the cafeteria. He was moving toward them, his expression concerned, but Ashley gave him a subtle shake of her head. Alex stopped, though his jaw clenched with obvious frustration. He knew, as she did, that any incident involving humans would be used as evidence that Earth wasn't ready for Federation membership. Krathor leaned down, bringing his face close to hers. His breath smelled like copper and ammonia. You know what I think? I think you're weak. I think all humans are weak, hiding behind their reputation. You can't actually be as dangerous as the reports say. It's all exaggeration, all propaganda to scare the rest of us. Please step back, Ashley said quietly. Or what? Krathor's manipulator claw shot out and knocked her datapad to the floor, where it clattered against the metal grating. What will the little Deathworlder do? Will you file a complaint? Will you run crying to your handler? Something in Ashley's expression changed. It was subtle. A slight tightening around her eyes, a barely perceptible shift in her posture. Alex saw it from across the room and actually took a step back. I asked you nicely, Ashley said, her voice so calm it was almost serene. And Krathor reached out to shove her shoulder. What happened next took less than 2 seconds. Ashley's left hand snapped up and caught Krathor's manipulator claw mid-motion. Her right hand shot out in a blur, fingers rigid, and struck the junction where the Vakrian's head met his thorax. The impact was precise, surgical, targeting the nerve cluster that every Federation species learned about in basic xenobiology. Krathor made a sound like cracking ice. Ashley twisted, her entire body rotating from her core, that devastating rotational power that came from evolving under 1G of gravity. Her hands moved in opposite directions with mechanical precision. There was a sound like breaking ceramics. Krathor collapsed. Ashley never stood up. She never even raised her voice. She simply sat there breathing normally, as the massive Vakrian crumpled to the floor in front of her. His exoskeleton cracked at the neck joint, his nervous system temporarily disrupted. He wasn't dead. Humans had learned to pull their punches in the Federation, but he wouldn't be walking for several hours. The cafeteria had gone completely silent. Ashley calmly reached down, picked up her datapad and set it back on the table. She met the eyes of Krathor's entourage, who were backing away slowly, their mandibles clicking in alarm. "I asked nicely," she repeated. Multiple times. Alex was suddenly at her side, his hand on her shoulder. "Ashley, I know," she said quietly. "Call Ambassador Williams. Tell her I'm ready to give my statement." As station security arrived, their weapons drawn but uncertain who to point them at, Ashley remained seated. She took a sip of her water, her hands perfectly steady despite the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. The other species in the cafeteria gave her a wide berth as security escorted her out. She could hear the whispers starting, could feel the fear beginning to spread. This was what Earth's diplomatic corps had tried so hard to avoid. A reminder that humans weren't just clever or lucky or exaggerating their capabilities. They were apex predators playing at being civilized. And every instinct bred into them over millions of years of evolution was still there, coiled and waiting beneath their polite smiles and diplomatic language. Ashley had sat quietly through months of harassment, had absorbed every insult and provocation with patience that would have impressed a saint. But patience wasn't weakness. It was just humans knowing their own strength and choosing not to use it. Until they had no choice left.